This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
So there's a very interesting Torah. The Torah in Siman Taf Reish Vav writes, some say on Erev Yom Kippur you make a bracha on the Tevila. What bracha? Ala Tevila. There's a Tevila. Why? Because Tevila for Keri, the reason to go to mikvah Erev Yom Kippur, besides tshuva, is for Tumas Keri. And you make a bracha on that. And the Torah asks, and sort of dismisses this opinion, that the takana of Ezra of going to the mikvah for Keri is batal. In other words, we are not makbid lahalacha on Tevilas Ezra. So why would somebody make a bracha on Erev Yom Kippur? One does not make a bracha for Tevilas Ezra on any other day. Why would one make a bracha for Tevilas Ezra on Erev Yom Kippur? So Tzvi Pesach Frank in the Mikroi Kodesh says a very nice approach. The Gemara in Chulin says on Daf Nun, the Gemara in Pesachim says on Nun Aleph and Aleph, that any takana d'Rabbanan that's not niskabel, the takana is not chal. The reason why takanas Ezra was not did not remain is because is ef shalamoid by Klal Yisrael was not makabelet, and a takana that's mispashed is miskabel, and that makes it obligatory. Says Tzvi Pesach Frank, the same way in enacting a takana is devolves and is chal if Klal Yisrael is makabelet, so too when a takana is nizbatel, the bittul is taloi on whether Klal Yisrael accepts the bittul. So he says as follows: regarding Tevilas Erev Yom Kippur, that Klal Yisrael, so Ezra was masakin to be toivel always, but Klal Yisrael wasn't makabel, so it wasn't chal. But legabe, in other words, Tevilas Ezra was ef shalamid by so became batal. But regarding Tevila of Erev Yom Kippur, where Klal Yisrael was always makabel to be toivel on Erev Yom Kippur, so that Tevila was never nisbatel. Memela, the original takana of Ezra stands. So the same way, if Ezra's takana would have stood, we would make a bracha any time a person's toivel. So legabe Erev Yom Kippur, since Klal Yisrael was niskabel to be toivel, so the original takana of Ezra stands legabe that tefila. So it's keilu Tevilas Erev Yom Kippur is mamish takanas Ezra that was never nisbatel. So Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank quotes his son-in-law. You know who his son-in-law was? Rabbi Yosef Cohen. Who's Rabbi Yosef Cohen? The father of the current Rosh Hashiva of Hebron, Rav David Cohen. Rav David Cohen. In fact, when I was learning in Eretz Yisrael, I had the zchus to hear a shiur from Rabbi Yosef Cohen, the son-in-law of Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank. And he brings another Torah in Siman Taf Reish Yud Gimel. The Torah brings the shita of Rabbi Yehuda Bar Tzaluni, that if somebody becomes tameh on Yom Kippur, he goes to the mikvah on Yom Kippur. Because the Mishnah says, Haroya kari b'yom kippurim yared v'toivel, meaning even b'zman hazeh. And the Beis Yosef asks that even though the opinion of Yehuda Bar Tzaloni is codified by the Rif and the Rosh, the Rambam disagrees that someone who sees kari b'zman hazeh on Yom Kippur, so he just wipes it off, and washing for tefillah b'zman hazeh is only a minhag, and a minhag to wash off for Keri is now mevatel the isser of going to the mikvah on Yom Kippur. But what's the pshat in the Ri Bar Tzaluni? Why would the Ri Bar Tzaluni hold that you could go to the mikvah on Yom Kippur? On Yom Kippur there's an isser mamish of rechitza. So takanas Ezra is going to be mevatel that. We don't go to the mikvah for takanas Ezra. Don't we go to the mikvah because of minhag? So Yosef Cohen says the same Lomdus, that since legabe Yom Kippur it was niskabel in Klal Yisrael to be toivel Tevilas Ezra, legabe tahara for Yom Kippur it's keilu, it's not a minhag to be tahar from Yom Kippur, it's mamish takanas Ezra, and therefore even on Yom Kippur takanas Ezra is mevatel the Yisra Rechitza. But really the tours are l'shitase. Since we paskin that you don't make a bracha on Tefillah on Erev Yom Kippur, that means we don't paskin like this Lomdus, and we paskin that really all Tefillah is nisbatel, and when we go to the mikvah of Yom Tif, it's minhag. Therefore, so too, if somebody came back here on Yom Kippur, so that Tevilah would not be mevatel the isser of rechitza, because basically they go hand in hand. So the shita of the Ri Bar Tzaluni, that one would go to the mikvah on Yom Kippur for Tevilas Ezra, is l'shitase of the Yesh Misha Oimer, who says you make a bracha on Tevila on Erev Yom Kippur. So he just brings one support from Shalos HaTshuva, Mahari Bruna, who writes that Tevilas Erev Yom Kippur is a chayva midina of the Gemara mitakanas Ezra. Because the reason we don't go to the mikveh the whole year for Keri is because we don't paskin that Tevilas Ezra is binding. We hold like Rabbi and Meseira. But on your Erev Yom Kippur, where the minhag is to be toivel, that means we hold legabe Erev Yom Kippur, Tevilas Ezra is in full force. Now, regarding whether this year it is safe to go to the mikveh, that is beyond the scope of today's shiur. If somebody feels it is not safe, there is a way to take a shower and be mekayim a tvila through 9 kavim, and speak to your local Orthodox rabbi in the proper procedure to take a shower in lieu of going to the mikveh under these circumstances. But again, I'm not commenting on whether it is or is not, but in an ideal year, going to the mikveh is, in a way, just a reinstatement of Tevilas Ezra. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. Such a nice audience. Okay. So here's the plan.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.